Russo. I'm 39 years old. I live in Phoenix, Arizona. A couple months ago, I had the weirdest experience and the most horrifying event that ever happened in my life. And before I go into this and dive into the situation, I want to tell you that I've listened to people talk about UFO and alien sightings, and I would just laugh at them and think that they're crazy and that there's no way that something like this can happen. But until something happens to you, then you start reconsidering what other people say. And the story I'm about to tell you is 100% true. I'm driving home from my cousin's house. It's about 1:30 a.m., maybe 1:40. I've driven on this road many times before. It's always very dark, but it felt like this time it was even darker. And then I noticed this red light in the sky, and it just stayed there motionless. But after about 10 seconds or so, it started moving and getting bigger. And then it started getting bigger. And the thing was like coming right at me. And you see something coming right at you and you're on this dark road. I'm driving, but what the hell? And the thing is coming like this. And I'm like, this can't be really happening. But it's happening. And there it is. So I slam on my brakes because it's just a reaction. You're scared as hell. And I swerve off the side of the road. The thing stops like right in front. And it's maybe like 50 feet above the ground. And I saw it. It's like some kind of circular, metallic craft with these red lights reflecting over it. And it's making this deep humming sound like like kind of like sounds of like vibrations. And at this point now I'm freaked out. I just like stopped. I'm like frozen. I don't know how to think. I don't know how to react. But at this point I'm like pretty much terrified, because when you don't see anything like this, you could say you don't scare easy and you watch horror movies and whatever and you're a big tough guy. But until something like this happens in your car, it's like this huge floodlight and it's like shining inside. All I can see is a white light in my car. It's complete dark outside. This white light is just flashing like right in my eyes. And then I was like I started feeling like I'm floating up. I'm being pulled up. I never ever felt something like this, and I couldn't even explain the feeling, but it feels like I'm like this. I'm like floating up from this white light, and I'm all alone on this dark road. I have no clue what the hell is going on. I just blacked out, just like that. And then I have these dreams, these weird, like vivid dreams that weren't dreams. I mean, they were dreams, but they weren't dreams. But I felt like this dream, I'm surrounded by these like really weird looking people with these huge eyes, these huge black eyes, and I'm just looking, and all of a sudden there's just all these like creatures or people, and there's no explanation. And you know how you like tell yourself when you're dreaming, pinch yourself? I'm like trying to do something. I'm trying to wake up, but you can't wake up. There's no way to wake up. I mean, what I'm seeing and what I'm feeling, and this is happening in the now. There's no explanation. There's nothing I can do. There's nowhere I can move because my body's like frozen. I'm completely frozen. And I'm just like this, but my thoughts are there. And I know that I'm in this, and this is not a dream. And so, like, absolutely the craziest thing. So the next thing I remember, I'm back in my car, same spot, same side of the road, stopped. And I look at the clock, and it's 4 a.m. I blacked out for 2.5 hours, thought it was a dream, but it's not a dream. It couldn't have been a dream. It's the most vivid thing that I've ever seen in my life. And now I'm like, oh yeah, what am I going to do? I'm going to talk about this? Am I going to tell my girlfriend this? I mean, she's going to think I'm absolutely crazy. I laugh at people with these conspiracy theories all the time. And then something like this happens to me. Everything changed. My whole life. Never felt like myself since then. It's been a couple months now. I'm getting like these horrible pains, and I'm out of breath all the time. I get these horrible headaches. I have this ringing in my ears, like every now and then it will go for like 15 minutes, and then I get that humming sound, just like that humming that I was explaining that happened in my car. I get it, it's on and off. It's almost like a It feels like someone's like talking to me, or something's trying to communicate with me, or communicate with whoever's inside me, because that's what I feel. I don't feel like I'm in control of my life. Every night I have the same dream, the same recurring dream about the red light, seeing these black eyes looking at me, staring at me, and I feel that. And then I wake up and there's this white light, just a glaring white light coming down, and that's all I can see, a bright, bright light. My body can't move. I hear the humming noise in my ear. I actually feel there's someone inside my body taking it over and hearing these messages and transponding, communicating to something This is not human. Everywhere I go, I feel like someone's watching me. I can't see anybody, but I can feel it. You know how you can feel the presence of someone breathing down your neck? That's what I feel. I go to a doctor and he just comes up with, oh, you probably have like a magnesium deficiency, vitamin D. You probably just need that. You'll be fine. Maybe vitamin B, stuff like that. And I'm like, no, this can't be a vitamin deficiency. I eat all that stuff. I never had a problem before. I'm trying to tell him that something happened when I pulled off the side of the road and that my body, I can't move it. It's like I'm stuck in cement. Have you ever had that feeling where you're stuck and you can't move? So then he sends me to a neurologist and a gastroenterologist, and I have no clue what the hell they're supposed to do. But this won't go away. I just think about that time, and I just think about that moment, about that light, and about those big black eyes, and I think about it every single freaking night, that I see those eyes and that moment of being trapped in my car, frozen, with the lights coming right in my eye, just like this, and just not being able to move, and people surrounding you, and you have no clue who they are or what they are. And that's how I felt, and that's how I've been ever since this has happened, every single day. I don't know if something's in my body or someone's watching me or people are watching me, but that's what I feel. Like everywhere I go, there's something that I'm hearing. There's like signals, and then every time I move, I feel someone's there watching me. But it doesn't feel like it's a human. It doesn't feel like it's a person. But it feels like something is watching me. And then sometimes my body will just stop and won't move. And then I hear that humming noise again. And then I even ask my fiance, do you hear anything? Do you hear anything? No. Laughs at me like I'm crazy. But I hear that in my ears. And I have absolutely no clue what to do, because these doctors keep just going to give me a vitamin deficiency, and I have no one to talk to. But I know there's something following me, there's something listening to me, and there's no explanation except this has to be alien activity. I never believed in this, and I know people are going to think I'm crazy, but when something happens to your body, you go to a doctor a couple times, and you do all these blood tests, and they tell you there's nothing wrong but a magnesium vitamin deficiency. That is bullcrap. What am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to get over this?
My name's Jennifer Berkeley. I'm from Terre Haute, Indiana. I'm 22 years old. There's no real way of saying this without sounding crazy, so I'm just gonna come out and say it. I'm being stalked by aliens. I'm not just talking about abductions. They do that. They've taken me since I was a kid. They come in when I'm sleeping, and I wake up paralyzed. And they're in my room, and they take this light and stick it inside my head. And when they put this light inside my head, there's this bang, like a really loud bang inside my head, and this flash of light, and I feel really weird. And suddenly I'm somewhere else. In the beginning, I remembered everything clearly. I still remember them taking me back when I was 6, 7, 8 years old. I actually used to like them. You see, they're deceivers. They're sneaky. They tell you what you want to hear, but they're sinister. And I've seen what they do to people. You know how thousands of people go missing every day around the world? Who do you think takes them? And where do you think they go? I'll tell you. They're taken by these aliens. And they're used as science experiments. They're mutilated. I've seen it with my own eyes. Over the years, the abductions started to get hazier. I lost the ability to remember them. I think they don't want me to know what they do to me. I wake up with cuts, markings, burns, little holes all over my body and bruises. But lately I noticed they've been following me too. There's always this light in the sky wherever I go, and it moves with me. I've shown my friends the light, and they think I'm crazy. I see shadows out of the corner of my eyes at night. I see them sometimes like they're cloaked or invisible, but I can see like this ripple or distortion in the air. I see it moving and following me. I've lived with this fear for so long, it's become part of who I am. I don't even realize I'm afraid anymore. There's nothing else. There's no change from this agony that I feel every day. I don't know why they're following me and they're blocking my memories. I know something is going on and they don't want me to know what it is.
My name is Lacey Peterson. I'm from Arcadia, Florida, and I'm 45 years old. The first time that I was abducted, I was only 8 years old. I was taken by the Grays. They just came into my room, took me aboard their ship, and did some kind of surgery on me. I remember I couldn't feel anything, but I saw them removing something from my belly area, like maybe an organ or something. They took the organ away and then came back with it and put it back in my belly. I remember the next day my insides hurt so bad. My parents took me to the emergency room, but they didn't find anything unusual. And then my next memory of being abducted was when I was a teenager. The Greys took me again, but this time they were with these other aliens. They were bigger, and they looked more like insects. All I can really remember from this experience was they had me on this table, and the Greys had this weird long looking tube with this pointy thing on the end of it. I couldn't feel my body, but I saw it. It put the tube inside of me for my private area. Then bam, last thing I remember. And just like the first abduction, the next day I was in a horrible pain. I couldn't tell my parents. I wasn't comfortable talking about it with them at the time. Plus they didn't believe me the first time. And it was a sensitive area, you know. Then the next abduction was at 22. It wasn't the Greys or the taller insects. I woke up in the middle of the night and there was just a huge dark person standing next to my bed. It almost looked like a reptile, like it had scales. And I'm not comfortable sharing the details of this experience, but it involved unwanted sexual contact. After it happened, I started to just consider ending my life. I was traumatized and depressed and scared I couldn't handle any of it. I started to consider if I was actually insane or delusional, maybe schizophrenic. But there were physical effects from my abduction that I knew were real. I was taken again by the Greys. They showed up in my room, and the next thing I knew, I was on a table. They were doing something to me down below. I couldn't feel or move my body, and then one of them was just communicating with me. He told me they were taking their offspring because I couldn't survive for much longer with it in my body. That was the last time I had any contact with the aliens. They've ruined me. I'm a completely broken person now.